Okay, so the first step with activating an e-resource collection, activating a database, is to find it in Alma. So we're going to start by just looking at EBSCOhost Academic Search Complete. So I'm going to go back to that spreadsheet, and I'm just going to copy the Alma name. Again, the Alma name of the database is EBSCOhost Academic Search Complete. And then go back into Alma. From the persistent search box at the top, you're going to want to make sure that you've selected electronic collection. And then just a keyword search. I'm just going to paste it in EBSCOhost Academic Search Complete and do a search. Okay, now this one's already been set up and activated and should be up and running for everybody. You'll notice that your search results can return more than just what you were looking for. We just did a search for EBSCOhost Academic Search Complete, but it also gives me keyword searching, so we've got all kinds of other databases on here. If you want to get to a really more specific search, hit Advanced. Let me show that again. Up here at the persistent search box, click Advanced and do a title search. Contains the phrase as opposed to keywords, and then do a search, and that should just narrow your search down to the database. Now it's important to note that this database has been activated in Alma for us already. This one's already up and running, so you'll notice that it is in the institution zone. There's these two tabs right here. The institution zone contains all of the databases that have already been activated, which this one is. If this was not yet moved into our Alma, it would be in the community zone. And when you think of the community zone, all you really need to remember is the community is the entire world, okay? That's everything that's possibly available in Alma. The institution zone is KCTCS. So the institution zone is not your specific college. It's all 16 colleges plus the system office. That's the institution zone. Now, there's a little glitch that I've noticed down here. It should say that it's available for all of us at this point, because again, this is a database we all subscribe to, so it should be activated and made available for all 17 institutions, which would be all 16 colleges plus the system office, because they also have a Primo. There's a glitch here. This should be showing up. We'll just kind of ignore that for now and move on to what it looks like, what the group settings should look like. So first of all, your portfolio list, I'll get into that in just a minute. What we're really looking for at this point are the ellipses over here. If you click on that and go to Edit Service, that will bring up your linking and your group settings. So this is the part where it tells you, it's telling Alma which colleges to activate Academic Search Complete for, and in this case it's going to be everybody, okay? So again, the ellipses, Edit Service. Okay, the first screen under Edit Service is the activation. Make sure it's set to Available. Once it's set to Available, it's going to start showing up in Primo. Okay, so that's the very first thing that you need to make sure it's available, made available. Activate new portfolios is set to yes. That means that if new journal titles are added to Academic Search Complete by EBSCO, Alma will automatically activate those new journal titles for us. We don't have to do that manually. We just kind of set this thing, and then Alma and EBSCOhost does all the work, okay? Next screen that you kind of have to pay attention to is your linking. This pretty much tells Primo what to do with an article or a journal title in EBSCOhost Academic Search Complete. Now this is all sent to us automatically from EBSCO. This is the URL that basically goes into your browser when you click on a link in Primo. So there's some parameters in here that have to be set up. For EBSCOhost, the customer ID has to be specified. Don't worry about any of this right now. Again, this is automatically sent to us from EBSCO. The important thing that you pay attention to on this page is make sure that the proxy is not turned on here, because we have 17 different proxy servers. Each college has its own proxy server. So you do not want to turn the proxy server on this page, because it will mess it up for everybody. That is one of the reasons why all of the links were not working in Primo in January of 2019. Because we had it turned on to yes, and then it tried to send everybody's through one proxy server, and of course everybody has their own proxy server. So again, with this page, you really have to make sure there's no proxy enabled under linking. Okay. Now the page you want to go to activate your own college is group settings. So when you click on group settings, this is where you're going to tell Alma to send the links to 17 different colleges. In the instance of Academic Search Complete, we have 17 different locations that are different. So in your Primo, you're going to want your link to look different than somebody else's link. This is the page where you set up those group settings to tell Alma to do that. So again, this database has already been set up. I'm just showing you what this looks like. You'll notice that all 17 locations are on this screen. Don't worry really about group members. You're just looking at the group name. So each college just has one activation. Even if you have more than one campus, of course, you still just have one college and one proxy server. Okay, I'm going to click on the ellipses over here next to Big Sandy, and I'm just going to edit that to show you what that looks like. So on this screen, the group for this one is Big Sandy. Yes, the proxy is enabled. We're going to tell Big Sandy's Primo to use the Big Sandy proxy. Okay, so not only enable the proxy, but make sure that you've selected the right proxy, in this case proxy for Big Sandy. With EBSCO databases, you need your customer ID, and there is a spreadsheet that shows you what your customer ID is for EBSCO. So again, if you go into SharePoint and then go into the Alma project site on SharePoint, and then Alma documents on SharePoint, and then the e-resource management folder in SharePoint, there's another spreadsheet in here for linking parameters. And this spreadsheet will tell you what all of your Gale EBSCOhost and ProQuest customer IDs are. So we each have a different one. For EBSCO, this is what you're going to have to copy and paste for each college. So if you're Big Sandy, for example, this is the string right here, and I just copied it, that you would have to specify down here in the customer ID. Okay, so for ProQuest, it's not a customer ID. It is a client ID, and then for Gale it's called a group, and you also have to do this article thing here. So I'll show you what a Gale one looks like in a minute, but it's just important that you include that information for ProQuest, Gale, and EBSCOhost. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this screen. This is already set up again for us, and I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to hit save. And this again has already been set up. So this is what it should look like for a database that we all share, that we all have access to. Again, you want to go to your edit service and your group settings, and this is where you're going to add your college. If your college isn't on here and it needs to be, you're going to add your college to this list. Before we move on, let's take a look at another example. This time, let's look at a collection that's been activated for only a few of the colleges. So this would be a local database that only a few of the colleges subscribe to, not one of the big databases that we all have through KYVL or something like that. So I'm going to go back to the spreadsheet, and let's look for Gale U.S. History and Context on the spreadsheet. So I'll scroll down. Here it is right here, Gale U.S. History and Context, and you'll notice that it's activated and available for Gateway, Madisonville, and Maysville. So those are the only three colleges that subscribe to this particular database, and I've already gone ahead and made it available for those 3 colleges. So I'm going to copy the Alma, the database name in Alma, Gale U.S. History and Content. Alright, so we'll copy and paste that. Go back into Alma. We're going to search our electronic collection, do an advanced search. Again, we're going to search title, contains phrase, paste it in there. And then sometimes it won't show up. Punctuation's an issue when using the search feature in Alma. Actually, the search feature in Alma, to me, is altogether not exactly, doesn't always get what you want. So I'm going to change contains phrase to contains keywords. Okay, so we did find it on here, Gale U.S. History and Context in the institution zone. You'll notice it is available for those 3 institutions that I mentioned. Alright, so I'm going to click on the ellipses, edit service. It is made available. Just take a look at the linking. Again, this information is sent straight to us from the database, so you don't have to do anything here. Just make sure it's not enabled, the proxy server. We don't want a proxy server enabled on this screen. We need to go to the group settings. And again, these are the 3 colleges that we have this thing activated for. We'll just take a quick look at gateways. You can see it's set up for the group gateway, and the proxy server is enabled, yes, for gateway. Now down here with Gale, you have to put in 2 parameters. The linking parameter contains the customer ID. So let me go back to the SharePoint folder, and I will click on linking parameters. So again, for gateway, let's find gateway on this list. The Gale group ID is KCTCS GCTC, and yes is the article. For some reason in Gale you have to also include that parameter, so you would just copy and paste from that database your local ID, KCTCS GCTC for gateway, and then the article is yes. Okay, hit save, save it, and again that's for all 3 of those institutions that have access to this database. If you wanted to add another one, say one of the colleges begins subscribing to this, same thing, go to Edit Services, go to your group settings, and then you can add settings for a group. So let's just say that Ashland starts to subscribe to this product. You would want to find Ashland on this list. Enable the proxy server, make sure you select Ashland's proxy server, and then you would go to the spreadsheet, get the linking parameters for Ashland, for Gale, which for Ashland it's KCTCS ACC. Copy that, paste it in as the local ID, go back to that linking parameters, and then you need that second parameter for a Gale database. The article level needs to be yes, and then you put that in the article level yes and hit save. I'm not actually going to hit save because Ashland does not have access to this resource. Just going to hit cancel, but if I did hit save, that would show up on this list along with the other 3 that have access to it. Hit save, and that should make sure that this product, this database, is only available now for these 3 colleges. If you went into anybody else's Primo and searched for a journal that is available in this resource, it will not show up in their Primo. Okay, it's only going to show up in these 3 colleges' Primos.